Something big is happening in Eastern gaming. I have been ignoring this situation for some time because we simply didn't have enough information, but now I think we have enough. And I think it's very concerning. For a long time, we have said that Western gaming needs to learn from Eastern because they are not afraid to tell stories, they are not afraid to actually make women that look like women, and they are not afraid to make men that look like men. And they are typically not infected with the blatant woke propaganda that gaming suffers from here at the West. But recently, it's kind of changing. For some reason, a lot of things that kind of almost rely and sell and make money only based on how hot they are in the East games are now turning woke. They're censoring things. They're increasing the length of skirts. They're putting more dresses on, and they're making even characters more agenderless. And that is concerning.
Hey, what's up, guys? Riff here. So, if you've been following this channel for some time, you've probably noticed a concerning and growing trend where a lot of powerful entities are using their influence to censor what they consider morally problematic artwork, in particular, those being produced on Japanese platforms and by anyone making anime styled artwork. Now, we've seen the usual suspects like Chase and MasterCard threaten to pull their payment services from various platforms and services because they find certain artwork problematic, and it leaves the
Jesus.
target with a get down or lay down situation where either they have to self-censor and lose the respect of the people frequenting their service or products and then keep the payment service, or they say F you to these people, lose their payment service, and pretty much lose their monetization and eventually probably shut down. And we're seeing this happen once again with the Google Play Store, and that's not too surprising to see Google trying to censor anything like this. And the latest target is, of course, Azur Lane. Here's the
I had not heard about a couple of these things, okay? Not following the Eastern market that heavily because I'm not interested in gacha games in general. But wow, you know what this says about Western games? This is kind of honestly insane because it literally says, hey, Western games that are currently failing because you're trying to put politics, messaging, and all the things that gamers don't care. You're not trying to make games, you're trying to make statements. Look at the other side of the pond. Look at what Asia is currently doing with gamings and how they're slaying it. How all of your fans are now moving away to their games. And instead of the Western game developers being like, oh, wow, maybe we messed up. No. They are digging their heels in, staying where they are, and now they're trying to oppress the Eastern developers. Oh my god, that is just pure ideology. It has nothing to do with gaming any longer.
headline saying Azur Lane is being forced to remove multiple outfits to comply with Google's censorship requirements. Here is the post from the official Azur Lane Twitter account. And there's a lot of things going on here, especially a lot of very confusing things that we'll break down. But let's start here. Dear Commander, HQ regrets to inform you that due to unforeseen circumstances related to the Google Play Store policy.
Is Azur Lane the... I think it has an anime. Is it? Why is my hair... Why do I look like I'm, I have one hair left? What the hell? What the hell, hair? Anyway, is Azur Lane the anime where girls turn into battleships? I haven't watched it. I didn't like it. Is that it? Because I have a feeling it is, or it's at least somehow tied to it.
We will be ending the sale of certain outfits. The following outfits will be removed from sale in the outfit shop on all servers after January 4th. So basically, this has already been completed, but there's going to be a little caveat to that in a second. We're going to talk about it, but first, here's a list of the outfits that are being affected by this change. And to give you an example, here's one of them. Okay, like, my goodness, I can't believe it. A big-tittied anime girl in a bikini in a gacha game? I can't believe this. It's so
Sad.
ridiculous because in Azur Lane itself, there are way looter outfits than this that are not being touched, and there's also way looter outfits in other gacha games that are not being cracked down like Azur Lane right now. And what's even weirder is that outfit has been out for years. So why is it all of a sudden such a big problem that it needs to be affected by these changes? But the way these outfits are being affected is also very confusing based on this right here. So commander who have purchased these outfits before January 4th will not be affected. You will continue to have full ownership of these outfits. Additionally, eventually this event and yada, yada, yada. So
if this involves the Google store, does this mean if Google cancels the outfits and people who buy them, Google has to also return the money that they got from Azur Lane sales? Is that it? Is that why they're allowing the outfits that exist to stay? Because then Google would have to pay? Because, one thing is Azur Lane choosing themselves to cancel these things and give back, for example, people money. Google has nothing to do with it in that case. But Google forcing them to do so would probably mean, most likely in their contract, that Google has to also repay the money they made from that. Because if it's on the Google shop, all the outfit sales give a percent out to Google. Oh my god, this is just pure greed.
What they're saying is if you purchased this outfit before this deadline that just passed, you get to keep it totally unaffected. Which the tinfoil hat conspiracy theorist says, maybe this was the greatest marketing ploy of all time to make people feel like these outfits were going away so they would be compelled to buy it right now. But in reality, you have Google making some very weird decisions here. And again, how do you really deal with the fact that this outfit is so problematic? These series of outfits are so problematic that they can no longer be available for sale, but they can still exist in the game for people who already have them. That doesn't make any sense, right? But also on top of that, people are starting to ask, like, who is responsible for all of this? And there's been several different claims, but this one is claiming that this was a Google takedown request, which usually involves a specific report from someone towards the app directly. So like in this case, maybe Timmy was running up his mom's credit card on Azur Lane. She finds out what it's being spent towards her credit card, and she finds out it's being spent on these impure Chinese cartoons, and now she wants to speak to the manager essentially. And then Google reviewed it and started punishing Azur Lane. And whether or not it is Google going off on their own volition to target Azur Lane or they're responding to complaints about the game, either way, it's a bad situation.
There's no way they're responding. There's just no way.
Where censorship is affecting the ability to make art. And that is not a good thing. And whether, I say this all the time, whether it's some Puritan or someone who's woke, they all can agree on one thing, and that is their hatred of anything anime styled. Anything that looks like an anime girl, they want it censored, they want it banned, just because they find it personally problematic. Instead of just avoiding something that they don't like, they want it completely removed. And woke people and Puritans, they agree on that. They'll weaponize censorship to target something they don't like artistically. But anyways, here's some of the responses. The most liked reply saying, I am sure this may fall on deaf ears, but as a customer since 2017, I have started to see a concerning amount of censorship from the West. We want Azur Lane to be able to express to gamers as you see fit. I implore you, create your own launcher or something to not be tied down to these censorship policies. Now that is a very good point. This is something I've been dumbfounded by for many years. Why don't popular gacha games like Azur Lane have a PC client or have their own launcher? Like it's
because of the same reason everyone goes crawling back to Steam at the end of the day. Because the Google store is the biggest. I don't want to buy, I don't play gacha games. But I would not want to download a fucking launcher again for a game, okay? I have Steam and I have Battle.net currently. That's already one too many, honestly. So, I understand this, that they don't actually want to create their own client. They should, and they probably will at some point, but I kind of get it, because most of the money is on Google, and it's not a priority that's really, really affecting them just yet. The moment it will, they will probably do it, but for now, I guess it's kind of ignorable. And again, no one just wants their own launcher.
Absolutely, I just don't get it. Like, I don't know, maybe I'm just totally out of the know, but there's no way that a cost benefit analysis of having a PC client does not work in favor of actually having it. There's just no way. They're missing out on a lot of additional customers and exposure because it'll be easier to stream the game. It's just a very weird decision and something that I just don't get. But anyways, on
No.
top of that, we're seeing this whole part about
Sadly,
trying
no.
to avoid these censorship policies, and that is one way to do that, right? It's not foolproof, but it's one way to avoid having to basically live at the whim of the Google Play Store. And this is the dramatic soapbox moment, but I can't imagine if Azur Lane came out with a different approach to this and said, you know what, the Google Play Store is trying to censor us. We're tired of it. We're going to create our own launcher and basically say F you. People would go crazy. It'd be viewed as unbelievably based, and people would go crazy supporting Azur Lane, applauding them as they make that decision. But of course, it's a very risky one, and I don't think a lot of these companies want to go anywhere else other than the Google Play Store, and that's just unfortunately the way it is. But there's some other discussions about this where people are saying the rating system is a bit of an issue, that the age of this, by the way, the age rating is T for teen. Azur Lane is T for teen, which should surprise you because, yeah, it's your big titty waifu gotcha game. Like, it definitely should be set.
Honestly, no. Because, I mean, they're not naked. So, yeah, as long as they're not naked.
17 plus or M for mature, what have you. And it is T for teen, but that is what makes this even more confusing because as a kind of a logical extension here, if Google, the Google Play Store looked at Azur Lane and said, these outfits are so bad they gotta go entirely, they're saying in effect everything else is fine. And not only is it fine to exist on their platform, it's fine for a T for teen rated game, which is even more confusing. And also, it just shows that the rating system is just completely busted. I think everyone knows.
The rating system is completely busted. Because, again, well, they're not naked. T14. And, again, the reality is no one cares if it's T14 or, you know, whatever age rating, right? But the Play Stores care because they are working with probably some kind of antiquated law that demands a certain type of visibility where a game that is M for mature can and can't be seen. So there is a reason why all the movies want to be like, you know, PG-12 or whatever. And, you know, all of these games also want to be, you know, for children effectively rated. Because then they will have just more visibility.
Is that right? There's games like Azur Lane that are T for teen, and they're doing that because they don't want to be labeled as N for mature, because they're not going to get pushed out the same way as if they are T for teen.
Exactly.
And that's another weird effect of censorship by Google, that these companies are trying to lower their rating as much as they can to basically survive on the platform and be treated better than they would if they were labeled as mature. And we've seen other companies have to deal with this whole situation of censorship from Google. We saw Blue Archive have to do the same thing to satisfy Google's censors by releasing basically 2 versions of the game, an all ages version as well as a 17 plus version, which again shows how ridiculous this whole system is, because Blue Archive is way more tame than Azur Lane, and yet that's the one that has.
To be fair, here I'm gonna actually defend Google, as probably as impossible as that sounds for some of you. Obviously, I know Google is the devil. A money-printing devil, but the devil nonetheless. That's gonna make artificial intelligence and quantum computers, and then we're all fucked. But hey, future problems, am I right? Anyway, the reason Google does this is because they also have responsibility. They don't want, they need to be strict with a lot of these things, because otherwise there's gonna be that inevitable situation where some dipshit parent is like, oh my god, my 5-year-old Timmy just found a strip club simulation game and he's now playing it, and there was no precautions from the company, not from the bad parents, aka us, but from the company, so Timmy doesn't actually play games that he's not supposed to play. And that is why these rules exist. That is why there are these things. Google does this not because maybe even they want to, but because it's literally their own protection. They are mitigating risk for themselves by doing this.
Has to have a 17 plus version. It's all very confusing, and it really shows that these rating systems are just completely busted. And all you have is these companies, and primarily ones from East Asia, trying everything in their power to navigate the censorship of the Google Play Store and having to strategize their ratings and how they approach things just to basically have their product exist on a platform that is an area where they can sell what they're making. And it's really frustrating. And now, because of situations like this, and a lot of other Western outrage over gacha games and other East Asian games, we're seeing a lot of these gacha games starting to self-censor, especially on social media, and it's a very disturbing trend. We've seen this with other examples, but Brown Dust 2 did something like this, where they released this trailer. I can't really play anything. This is as good as it's going to get. They have their name, their logo.
Brown Dust 2. Is that a reference to, when you take the panties off and you spread them cheeks and it's, there's like that small bit of dried up dust that comes at your face? Oh my god! Shit, I don't actually even blame them for censoring this. Brown Dust 2, oh my god. That is insane! That is insane! Oh my god, that is so good. By the way, I love it. I love the Brown Dust, I'm not gonna lie, boys. It is a treat. But whatever. Whatever. Ah, damn. Brown Dust too. Now this just made my day. This just made my day. Anyway, that was Rev Says Desu, 10 out of 10. Have a nice day. Bye bye.